Anyone who's read the novels or watched the TV series of George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones knows there's enough family feuds, war, politics, and intrigue for 10 franchises. But for all the shocking deaths, betrayals, and strokes of luck the series has featured thus far, there's one question that fans debate more than any other, believing that it may hold the secret to the entire story. The mystery hinges on Jon Snow, the illegitimate son of Ned Stark, the former head of Winterfell, specifically the identity of Jon's mother. It's one riddle that readers and viewers are both hopeless to definitively solve until the end of the story, but one theory has risen above the rest. And if it's true, Jon Snow may not just be an underdog hero, but the savior of all mankind. Obviously, there will be plenty of potential spoilers in our look at the theory and evidence behind the Game of Thrones theory that reveals Jon Snow's shocking lineage. In short, R plus L equals J.
Let me give you some advice, bastard. Never forget what you are. The rest of the world will not.
The Prince That Was Promised. Before we get to the current timeline, there's one prophecy in Martin's universe that most fans should know about, which is claimed to date back thousands of years. The prophecy asserts that one day, a noble prince will be born between smoke and salt, with the power to unite and save all of the kingdoms of man. Known as the Prince That Was Promised, or Azor Ahai, by the Red Priestess Melisandre, this hero will arrive to stop a terrible winter, most likely a reference to the cold and monstrous creatures living north of the Wall. Plenty of people have claimed they were the prophesized prince, but there's one candidate who actually seemed like a frontrunner.
And now you've woken the dragon.
The Dragon Prince. Since the HBO series picks up long after the story that this theory is based on, viewers may not know of the Dragon Prince, but readers definitely do. There are constant references to the last Targaryen ruler, known as the Mad King, the ruler that was stabbed in the back by Jaime Lannister when the king refused to surrender. But it's actually the Mad King's oldest son, Rhaegar, who is far more important. Strong, beautiful, and a born leader, those close to the royal family claimed the boy was the promised prince, since he was born amidst the smoke and ash of a burning castle. Most of the nobility and common folk seem to agree that Rhaegar was a great ruler in the making, and would have made an incredible king, but he never got the chance to take the throne, or fulfill the prophecy. At least not the prophecy that people expected. But if you ask some people in the north, Rhaegar was no savior king, but a monstrous criminal, all because of a single woman. Lyanna Stark. In the very first episode of the HBO series, viewers hear exactly how Lyanna Stark, the sister of Ned Stark, kicked the entire story into motion. You see, Lyanna was betrothed to Robert Baratheon, the Stark's family friend and ally. But engaged or not, Lyanna was just as amazed by Rhaegar's beauty as any other woman in the kingdom. And when the heir to the Targaryen throne made a trip to Winterfell, the two fell in love instantly and escaped to be married. At least, that's how people from the south, or supporters of Rhaegar, tell the story. When the prince escaped from the north with Lyanna, Robert called the royal heir a rapist and kidnapper, and used the theft of his bride as the final straw in kicking off a rebellion. His friend Ned was only interested in getting his sister back, but Robert was keen on removing the Targaryens from King's Landing, once and for all.
What did the Mad King say when you stabbed him in the back?
Robert's rebellion. It's worth pointing out that in the novels and TV show, Ned holds back from actually accusing Rhaegar of any crime, staying silent when Robert or his friends claim he abused or wrongfully kidnapped his sister. The novel gives a detailed account of the rebellion, with Robert killing Rhaegar in combat and the prince dying, speaking Lyanna's name as his final word. As the wannabe king headed to the capital, Ned headed to a faraway tower where Lyanna had been stashed and guarded by the best and most loyal of Rhaegar's guards. Why did he leave the woman he apparently kidnapped so heavily guarded, instead of using those men to fight beside him? We'll get to that in a minute. The important thing is that while Robert took the crown of Westeros, what Ned found wasn't as much of a victory. Lyanna's death. George R.R. Martin has kept extremely vague about what Ned actually found in that tower, but considering the prophecy, Rhaegar's apparently heroic nature, and the details we do get, one theory starts to form. Ned found his sister Lyanna, but found her dying in a bed filled with blood. Her cause of death is never given, but she does make one last request of her brother, begging him to make her a promise and keep it no matter what. With only Ned and his most trusted bannermen actually knowing what the promise was, he began his trip back to the north, back to his family, and back to his loving wife. And as fans know, he happened to be bringing a baby back with him.
Run to the litter. That one's yours, Snow.
The Secret King? The baby would be named Jon Snow and dismissed as Ned's illegitimate bastard, but the clues that Jon is actually the son of Rhaegar and Lyanna, born after they were married, don't stop there. In the books, Jon is described as looking the most like a Stark out of all of Ned's children,
I'm not a Stark.
which makes his wife Catelyn even angrier. But viewers could see that Ned never seemed like the kind of man to cheat on his wife. Still, he remains silent on the subject of his alleged mistress, an alleged mistress who was never identified. It didn't take a long time for readers to claim that Jon, not Rhaegar, was the prince who was promised, possessing the wisdom, strength, and courage to save man from a terrible enemy. As the child of the silver-haired Targaryen and jet-black Starks, the salt and the smoke, the fact that his pet direwolf, Ghost, is also white as snow seemed like the final clue. And as the son of Prince Rhaegar and his wife Lyanna, that makes Jon the rightful heir, the only rightful heir, to the Iron Throne. Unfortunately, Ned Stark's death means there's only one other person who knows of Lyanna's promise, Ned's bannerman, Howland Reed. He's yet to appear in the books or TV show, but it's his children who watch over the lost Stark boys, Bran and Rickon. So all the theory needs, supporters claim, is for Howland to arrive, confirm Jon's true parents, and step aside to let him take the throne. But considering the monsters gathering north of the Wall, Jon may have to save mankind before he can even dream about becoming king, or even discover the true identity of his parents.
You think it matters who sits on the Iron Throne?
No.
That's the basic story behind the leading theory that R plus L equals J, which means you can now wait with readers, viewers, and every other kind of fan to see if it's proven true. What do you think? Would this potential ending seem like the most satisfying if it is true? Or would you prefer that the Mother of Dragons or another contender win the throne? Let us know in the comments, and remember to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.